Hey guys, thank you so much for sending in your questions. We are now going to answer a few of those, and feel free to send your questions at the website, Ty and That Guy. And the first question is, Spencer Bilton asks, do you guys play video games? And if the answer is yes, what are your favorites? If no, why not? That's you, Ty.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely play video games. The favorites question is a lengthy one. Obviously, I have been playing video games since Pong, so I have a long history of favorites and things I like. But its simpler answer is right now my favorites are the ones that I can co-op play with my wife because she's a gamer too. So if you make a PlayStation 4 game or someday probably PlayStation 5 game that allows 2-player co-op, you're probably going to sell it to me and my wife. We're almost certainly going to buy it. Why don't you play video games, Wes?
Well, I'll tell you why I don't play. So when I was in right after the military and I was in school, and I was living in Huntington Beach, and I shared a condo with two other guys, and he had an Xbox, and it was I think it might have been the second iteration of Halo. It was either the first one or the second one.
Yeah.
And we started playing Halo, and I just got sucked in, and we would have tournaments where people would come over to the house, and there would be 20 people just hanging around, like waiting their turn or whatever, and we'd all be there. And there were times I remember, like one of the last times is we were playing. I had a paper I had to do. I called in sick to work. I was a bartender at the time, and we stayed up all night. And I literally watched the sun come up, and I was on no drugs. And I watched the sun come up, and I realized that we played for almost 24 hours Halo, and I realized at that moment, all right, I'm gonna have to. It was kind of like kicking the cocaine habit. There's just a moment where you're like, this doesn't bring any value. I got to let it go. So I don't have the moderation in me, and I was kidding about the cocaine, by the way, but I don't have the having a habit of it, or I was kidding about kicking it actually, but I don't really have the moderation bug, and so when I get consumed in something and when I get sucked into something, it's really hard for me to focus on anything else. So I have to be very careful.
All right. April Wren asks, in the books, there are a lot of Easter eggs within the names chosen for the ships that are taken from important and relevant human history, embraced by all three of the factions. Can you guys talk more about that? So, Wes, why do you name the ships the way you name them?
Well, for me, what I like to do is I like to come up with the most confusing, mind-racking names that people would never truly understand. So it makes me feel superior and intelligent. And then I like to throw in like random Greek mythology in the name. So then just to let people know that I understand Greek mythology and I've read and I took Latin in college. So basically to feel superior.
That's the best reason to do anything. I know for Daniel and I, what we like to do with ship names is make the world feel very multinational, so that it feels like the history of this future is one that includes every ethnicity and every national origin and that kind of stuff, so that it doesn't feel like it's just ships named after white dudes from the 60s. It's we never have the George Washington, but we'll have like the Kidder Tanama, which is a famous Indian warrior queen, or revolutionary. Well, not warrior queen, but more revolutionary. So that kind of stuff. We make it feel like the world is bigger than just one small ethnic or national group.
You're not going to name a ship the JFK or something like that, would you say?
Probably not. No, probably not.
Victoria Rosa asked, to Wes, how did you first immerse yourself with the character after getting cast? And at what point did you first approach Ty and Daniel after you had read the books? And what was that like? Did you start with the churn, or how did you go about it? So,
well, you didn't talk to us until after we had cast you. We had already cast you before you and I ever had a conversation. Yeah.
No, I didn't. I didn't. I think the first thing that I was worried about is when I got the pilot for The Expanse. I had a really special feeling about it because I've told the story many times, but I was at a Comic-Con. I think did you guys have a booth, a James S.A. Corey booth at Comic-Con?
No.
Was your books there?
Our publisher might have had some James S.A. Corey stuff up at their booth, but Daniel and I have never had a booth at Comic-Con.
Yeah, so the mythology is, but Clint, I think, doesn't. Somebody told me about the Expanse books, and I thought it was Clint, our producer. Clint Trucks, our producer. But I think he has since told me. Was it you? Okay, it was Clint. Okay, it was Clint.
Well,
so
we owe Clint a debt of gratitude.
Okay.
Beyond just the great work he does producing the show.
Okay, so Clint Trucks told me about the books, and I was like, ooh, that sounds right down my alley. And I started reading, timing-wise. I just started. I mean, this is what, sometimes your memory, but I remember like starting to read the books and really getting into it. And then I got a pilot called The Expanse, and I was like, wait a minute, like I just heard about it from a friend. Somebody else, it was somebody was talking, or something was going on at Comic-Con where it kind of came into my radar then. And not to get too hooey, but there are times in my life where I kind of get, something comes up, and then it kind of comes up in all kinds of different iterations. So I end up reading the pilot. I had a great and a special feeling about it, but the only question was I didn't know who they wanted to see me for. And at that point, I know reading the books that I was really fascinated by Amos, and I thought I really just was drawn to that character. And when I reached out to my my team at the time, and I said, yes, I'm excited about this. I want to go in for this. I don't really know who they're wanting to see me for, but I want to go in for Amos. And so I was lucky that I got to go in for Amos. And then when I got the job, then through research, I found out about the churn. And the churn is basically the foundation that I read every season, and it really kind of connects me to where Amos came from and what has happened to him in his past. And I've given that book to therapists, and we've discussed. I just said, like, if this happened to somebody at this age, and this is kind of how he's behaving now, what's going on? And then they would kind of explain to me, and then I would go in and read about that, and so it's an endlessly fascinating character, and I still get butterflies every season before we start, and that's a rare thing to be doing something for 6 seasons and you're still excited about it.